Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I am Robert with Sherburne Outdoors, and today we're doing something a little different. It is still diesel heater season. I've done a lot of reviews on some units that were sent to me. Today I actually bought one off of Amazon. So when I was doing some more expensive reviews, like we did the $600 review on the LF Bros, and we did the, I think it was like the $220 review on the H Calorie Toolbox 2, I got some comments sent to me that I should try out this Max Peating Rods unit off Amazon. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'd never heard of it, and the name sounded so stupid I didn't even know what to do with it. I went back and looked at my emails, and I actually have been reached out to them before. I looked at this online on Amazon. It was 89 bucks. I've actually seen it for 80 bucks, so I went ahead and bought it with my own money just to see what it was about, see how it compared against it. And I will tell you, when I started looking at it online, it was kind of interesting. It's a 5 kW unit, it's got a 5-liter fuel tank, and they had all kinds of things on there that caught my attention. As doing a lot of reviews on diesel heaters, you know, the pumps are always a big deal, and they had this whole thing where they've replaced it with a super quiet pump. It's an upgraded pump, it's super low noise. They've got these pictures of people sleeping, you know, one without and one with, and I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. It had altitude mode, which I thought was pretty cool. It had an app, and it also has a temperature mode. So you can set this display up in your tent or wherever away from the unit, and it'll actually go up to the temperature. So this was always very interesting, and it had all these accessories that I had not seen. It came with this heat tape. It came with gloves, just some stuff, and it was just interesting. So I ordered it. Took about a week to get here. And when it showed up and I pulled it out, it was so light compared to some of the other diesel heaters that we've been playing with that I was a bit shocked. It was so thinly made. Now, when it did come, this was in 3 pieces. The board was laying out. The keyboard was laying somewhere else. This was here, and this front piece had come apart. So wasn't a good sign. I did put it all together, fire it up, and it did work. And so with all that said, this thing says it comes in at 18.7 pounds. Here is some dimensions on it. And this is everything that Amazon said. So I tell you what, let's look around and let's see what it is, and then we'll fire it up. And I've done some tests on it too for longevity, because whenever I do these type of reviews, I always look at how quiet it is, how easy to use, and is it fuel efficient? How long will it go on low, and how long will it go on high? So this is your basic setup where you do have to elevate it. It's got a very cheap display, I guess. It's got a remote. It came with a owner's manual. Actually, this was pretty good. It just like all of them, it comes with this very short pipe that's not insulated. That is so useless for what I do. I could never do it. Comes with some gloves, comes with some kind of repair kit, some clamps, heat tape, which I've never seen included with one of these, a vent, and then it actually did come with a DC cable, actually with a fuse in it too. That one's also one I haven't seen before. I did wire in a DC plug. We'll talk about that here in a few minutes. All right, if we look at the overall unit, it's made with some thin metal. It's got the really poor cap, and I do mean poor where it will leak everywhere. It's just very thin plastic. This is where the display, I guess you can connect it and shove it down in there. This is a 5-liter tank. It comes over to the side here. All the decals are already coming off. I've only used it for a very short period of time. Everything comes out the bottom. I thought I would like this exhaust pipe, but it is so flimsy, I couldn't even get it to bend and hold like I could some of the other ones. And then you have the air intake come off the back. I did zip tie it here. What can I tell you? Also cheap pipe. And then here's the 12 volt coming in. Now, coming over to the EcoFlow River 3. Now, I will tell you, I was not able to get this to work on a Blue Eddy. It spiked up to 150 just for a blip second as it's heating up the glow plug, and I had to go to the EcoFlow River 3, and it worked just fine. So what I want to do now is let's fire this thing up and see what the input wattage looks like as it's heating the glow plug, so you'll know if this will work for you. Pretty simple. You just press the power button. Sometimes I have to do this a bunch of times. Now, it is about 38 degrees right now outside, so it's a little bit cold, and it didn't work. It just kind of powered on, powered off. We'll try it again. I think it's going to work this time. We'll click and hold this, and it'll switch over to the power mode. And so we'll start off on P1. And I don't know if you can see this or not. It's so poorly lit, but it goes P1 to P5 or a temperature setting. We'll do P1 to P5. Now, normally I would do this with an app, and I will tell you, I could not get their app to work at all. So far, this hasn't started that well, but it's kind of interesting. So the app did not work. I did get the unit to work, and it is firing up right now. And if we look, we are bouncing. It was doing 116, 99, 107, 119, 128. It's kind of bouncing up. It will cross 140. I even saw it hit 150 for just a blip. Now the EcoFlow seems to maybe have a lag in it that it doesn't care. I know the Blue Eddy had serious problems cranking up to that, and it would just immediately air out. Hey, while this is still heating up the glow plug, we will do some additional testing today. We will test the airflow here, what it is per meters per second. We'll test the heat coming out, both out of the output here, but we'll also look coming out of the bottom of the exhaust. It's usually pretty hot. And then we'll also have a decibel meter as well. And I'll just give you a little insight. This thing is loud, like really loud, like hitting a jet engine with a hammer loud. All right, it's taken me 4 different times of starting and stopping this thing to get to this point in time, over about 20 minutes, and it's priming itself right now. And it's cold. It's 43 degrees outside now, and this thing is just loud. So we're getting a little smoke coming out the side here, so it's kind of cranking along. All right, so we finally got this thing moving along. It's pumping out some hot air. It's a little loud. But we got, it looks like our glow plug and our pump is showing. And so we just dropped down to like 18 or 20. The glow plug just turned off. That took like 15 minutes to get everything set up. I can't imagine if I was out freezing, overlanding, trying to pray this thing was going to start. So it's ramping up. Okay, we've got this set on P1, which is its lowest setting, and I guess the altitude mode is running right now. It says we're at 187 meters above sea level, which I think is right. If we pull our decibel, we are anywhere from 55 to 65. And it's because it's loud. It's just really loud. We take some heat readings. We are running about 225 coming out of the center of this thing. So we're running about 280 degrees coming out of the end of the exhaust. And I also did a wind measurement as well. It's running at 4.4 meters per second. It's really loud. So what I want to do now is take it up to the middle setting. So we'll go to P3 and just see what it sounds like there. Take a couple more temperature readings and see where we're at. And it's pretty simple. You just click on the device. We'll go up 2, and so now we're at P3. And you can hear it kicking in. Sounds like someone's beating it with a hammer to accelerate. Let's give it about 10 minutes, let it heat up in the P3, give it a fair chance. And then we'll come back and look at the next piece. But wow, I don't want to pass judgment yet, but it is not good. All right, so I've got medium running pretty well now. It's still really loud. Then we just take a decibel reading. Running about 63 to 64, super loud. We take some temperature readings out of the center, about 285, somewhere in there. So it did heat up quite a bit. So with our flow meter, we're running about 8.6 meters per second. So it sped up quite a bit from the 4.4 on the low setting. So this is medium, or P3. Wow, that thing is really loud. So let's fire this thing up to as high as it'll go. Give it about 10 minutes to really get set in and see what we're looking at there. And again, just coming down here. I wish the app worked because I do this from inside because I'm freezing to death. So we're kicking into P5. You can hear it kicking in. Man, it is loud. All right, it's been about 10 minutes. We've ramped up from medium up to high. You know, the ticking's not as bad. It is still there. but it's not as bad. It's super loud. If we take a look here, running anywhere from 72 to 74. We are pulling anywhere from 45 to 60. Kind of seems to be settling on 45 for the most part. In that area, it is bouncing a little bit. If we do a wind reading, about 11.4 is averaging out there. And if we take one last reading off of there, we are kind of in that 333 to 340 area on high. God, this thing is so loud. It sounds like a jet engine now. But the ticking is not as bad as it was. So I kind of have some ideas what this could be used for. It's just not anything that I would ever use it for. What can I say? It's moments like these that I remember why some of the other ones that we've looked at, like the H-Calorie Toolbox 2, cost $220. Or the LF Bros N2 Pro that costs $600. You start buying some quality and assurance and predictability. This thing, this Max Peating Rods, 5 kilowatt, 5 liter, $89. Actually, I've seen it for $80 actually on Amazon. I tell you what, I think there is some spots for this. Let me tell you where this is not. I would never take this out overlanding where I'm strapping it in the back of the truck and going, I don't know that it would make it. I think it would physically fall apart the time we got there. So I don't think this is for that. I think this is for if you have it stationary. Maybe I want to put it outside of a garage or some other areas. Now I do have some concerns even with that. So it's 43. I think I started this process. It was in the high 30s today. I mean, you get a diesel heater because it's cold, so it felt like this thing it took me about 15 minutes to get this up and going. Had to start and stop it, pull the power several times, and even the shutdown. I thought it was going to take like 3 or 4 minutes like other diesel heaters. It took 9 minutes for the shutdown period to go with this. But anyway, with all that said, I think this actually could potentially be a good garage. I don't know the longevity of this. This is really what I would call a disposable Chinese diesel heater. It is just so cheap. It's just crazy. I had all these great ambitions when I really started talking about what it could do when it at least on the Amazon website. I feel like there's a lot of false advertising with this. So as far as Sherburne Outdoors goes, I would never recommend anybody to buy this. So buy this at your own peril. I did. I mean, I paid 89 bucks for it on Amazon and had it shipped to my house to play with it. And it's just not been good. It's not anything that I would ever take out and pray that I would live through the night, especially when you guys have seen all the videos where I'm out camping, whether it's snowing, it's in the teens, and I'm just nice and cozy with something that I like. This is not something but as far as what it could do, I mean, it did go 28 hours and 38 minutes on low with 5 liters of diesel fuel, and on high it went 10 hours and 25 minutes. It was loud though. I mean, even on low, it was at 55 decibels, which isn't that bad, but it was just, the ticking was just so loud. And on high, we were getting what, like 74 decibels, which is insane. That's really, really loud. So again, this is the Max Peating Rods. You can find this for 89 bucks on Amazon. There's some links below. You're on your own with that, I must say. So hey, if you got any value out of this, please click that like button. Don't forget to hit subscribe and click that bell to be notified when we got new content out. Again, I am Robert from Sherburne Outdoors. Thank you so much for your time. Everybody have a great day.